Hello, and welcome to another episode of Crystal Tower Radio. I am your host, Calaera. This is episode 4, recorded on Monday, October 11, 2021. And with me today is Matt.
Hi.
Claude.
Hello.
And Jack.
Hello.
So, what has everyone been up to? We'll start with Jack.
Oh boy. So nothing's really changed since last time we talked about like things we were doing in the game. Still leveling my crafters. I am up to 250 in triple triad cards.
Ooh.
And I am still proggy Uwu.
How much progress have you made in Uwu?
We are currently finishing up Titan. The jail mechanic, for those who have done it, it's probably the hardest mechanic in the whole fight. For those who don't, it is an extremely complicated fight that most statics, or extremely complicated mechanic that most statics use plugins for because it's just so ridiculously complicated.
That I would like to remind people that add-ons are against terms of service. Just saying.
Correct. Don't do it.
Yes, it is against terms of service. We are not condoning the usage of it, but if you use it on your own, just don't talk about it.
Shh.
Yeah, Jack, stop talking about it.
I didn't say I use it. I just said people do.
You're just like that Kotaku report on Metroid Dread.
Oh my goodness. All right.
That's a conversation for a different time.
That is a conversation for a different time. Let's go with Claude. What have you been up to?
I've been playing Metroid Dread.
That has nothing to do with 14, sir.
No, I have been leveling. So I finished. Gosh, what was the last thing I finished? I don't know. I don't remember. Red Mage? I think Red Mage is the last thing I finished. I am now deep into Bard. I think I just hit 66 just a little bit ago, but right before we decided to record. And then after we're done recording, I'm going to jump right back into it to see if I can push 70 tonight. I've only got like 2-3 more DPS jobs to finish. So Bard, Dancer's at 69, and then I have to do Monk from scratch. And so I've got those I have to do, and then tanks and healers, because I only have Warrior to 80, and I only have Scholar to 80, which was obviously part of the leveling of Summoner to 80. So there's a lot of work to do in tank and healer, but DPS, I would at least wanted to get all the DPS done before Endwalker, and hopefully I can finish Dark Knight before Endwalker.
Now, since you are almost done with the DPS classes, is there a job that has surprised you and one that, one surprised you in a good way and one that surprised you in a bad way?
Well, they all kind of surprised me in their own ways. Dancer is like really fun and fluid. In as I play Bard, I still think I enjoy Dancer more than Bard. Although Machinist, I love Machinist. Like that is just a joy to play, and I hope that the changes in Endwalker don't overly influence that. When I had tried Dragoon back in 2.0, I was really intimidated by it, but having leveled that to 80, the combo actually feels like because the combo's insanely long and then weaves right back into itself. Like it actually feels like really fun. I really enjoy that. I think that if I want to turn my brain off, I go to Samurai. Samurai is easily like turning my brain off and just like running that. And the mage, so the caster classes, so Red Mage, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode. So Red Mage ended up kind of being boring from 70 to 80. I don't think it changed significantly enough to where like I actually like enjoyed it at all. So Red Mage is actually the job I enjoy the least out of all the DPS jobs. Not, excluding Monk. Black Mage is a lot of fun, but it's also really infuriating because you literally, like, you have to be still for so much of it. But it is a lot of fun. Those big numbers are great. And Summoner, I can't wait to play new Summoner just because current Summoner is just a mess of buttons. Just a mess.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see what the changes bring. How about you, Matt? What have you been up to?
Well, I got Monk to 80. and that was an experience that I will not soon forget. It's wow. Wow. Rayo is a stronger man than all of us.
He is.
I don't think I could stick with that job just because it's so wildly frustrating to have your DPS be so affected by other people's actions, specifically tanks. Like tanks will make you hate everything about playing monk, in addition to other DPS who don't do mechanics right. So sometimes it can be other melee because like if they're like close in with a boss and they get some kind of stack marker and they decide I'm not going to move, well, you're rude. End of story. Also currently getting my warrior to 80. That's currently in the mid 60s. And then just the random stuff that we're doing online every now and again. So whether that was our runs at Byako or other stuff, that's kind of what I've been up to. I'm not as active in the game right now because I was playing a lot of Eastward, which I finished. So now I'm back on the leveling train.
Nice.
So, of the tanks that you've leveled, which so far do you prefer?
So I have Paladin and Dark Knight at 80. I like Dark Knight a lot. I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why. There's something that I get a big kick out of whenever I can pop all my cooldowns and see 0 damage pop off from any kind of like tank buster. I just find that ultimately hilarious, even if it is kind of like a waste. But if we're
And
doing like the tower, if we're
Blackest
doing
Night.
tower, it's what? Yes, and
I said
Blackest Night.
Blackest Night.
Blackest Night is just hilarious. Yeah. Paladin, I can't get my head around its rotation for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I always wind up off on it. So still working on that. War is pretty simple and straightforward in the mid 60s, so no real trouble there. And Gunbreaker, I've only leveled like one level off its initial bit, and that's just because I haven't felt like I wanted to level it up yet. And then
Understandable.
I just have Black Mage left as a DPS job, and then I have everything in combat at level 80.
Ooh. Saving the best for last, I see.
Yes, I cannot wait to be one of Naoki Yoshida's chosen.
I just finished leveling monk, so now I have all my jobs aside from blue mage to 80.
Hey.
Blue mages at 70. I still need to farm spells, but yeah, it's weird having everything like capped.
It
It's
is.
like really weird, and I'm like, I almost don't know what to do with myself, even though I know mentally there's like a whole list of things I could be doing. Part of me is like, oh,
Hildebrand.
Yeah.
I already did all that.
Oh,
It's really strange because like you log in, you're like, all right, time to do my leveling stuff. You're like, well, I don't have to anymore actually, and you're like, well,
Yeah, because I mean that's a huge like chunk of stuff from the
Yeah.
duty roulette, and then you have to after that it's kind of like all the other stuff. So I could finish more relics, I could get more achievements doing things like crafting, gathering, or getting more triple triad cards.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, there's really so many things to do in the game. I just almost don't know where to start. But oh well. So now it seems like we are going to be beating a dead horse with this, but Jack, how do you
Hmm.
feel about the marketing team now after Genshin had their anniversary event?
Uh,
for those not in the know, the Genshin anniversary event was a giant debacle. Like just,
It
oh,
yeah.
you get like a free 10 roll and that's it.
man,
Not even a GSSR, just a free 10 roll.
I used to love Genshin Impact, but like just the consistency from that company it's so frustrating. I have to formally apologize to Square Enix because I don't want to make them seem like I hate their marketing team. There's just things they can do that can be better.
Yeah,
The
I think
vinyl being the worst one probably in a while. Um, but overall, like a lot of companies have like marketing teams that when they come out with something they think it's a good idea, and then they're like, wow, that really sucks. But like, it just feels like the Square Enix one just consistently kind of make small mistakes that they can just do better.
As I said with the soundtrack thing last week or last episode.
Oh yeah.
I'm still salty about that. But
Honestly, I know the vinyl one wasn't as bad as like the Twitch one in my opinion, in terms of like, because the Twitch one was just awful. It was just a terrible, terrible thing. I mean, good for those people who were like got on the list, like good for you, like you deserve it. But there's like a lot of people that should have been on the list, or they just shouldn't have the list at all. And anyone who streamed Final Fantasy should have been able to do it, but if that was even possible.
right.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it was, but then again, I'm not that big into Twitch.
Speaking of streaming, how do we all feel about a new surge of players coming from Hololive that are going to be playing Final Fantasy?
Yeah, apparently they got the clearance to play. So Iris confirmed on a recent stream that they can now stream playing Final Fantasy 14. And I have
So now
mixed.
we're gonna be inundated with deadbeats, member shrimps,
Oh,
takodachis. What is Watson's crew called? I forget.
Detectives? No, that's her.
Yeah,
I forget what she calls. I know she just verbally abuses them.
Oh gosh.
I mean, she does.
She does.
she does.
I do not partake of the Hololive. I
Fair.
watch clips that people send to me as memes, but other than that, I don't watch them at all. So I know that they have a gigantic following. I have friends that are like obsessed with them, and I'm not looking forward to the like this. This is the time that we should have had peace before Endwalker, but now we're gonna get possibly another surge here right before Endwalker drops, and that makes me a little nervous.
Oh, to take away from that, Claude. Actually, I was listening to, for anybody who don't know who Zeppela HQ is, I think you guys do.
Yep.
There's also a streamer called Arthas that's also now been a popular streamer for Final Fantasy. It is actually really happy that all these players are coming, because a lot of these streamers in Final Fantasy who have been doing it for years are now getting the viewers that they deserve. They're not getting the attention that they deserve. Because I know Zeppela for a while, she was like, before Final Fantasy blew up, she was averaging like 200 300 viewers. And then once Final Fantasy blew up, I mean, she took off. Like now she's averaging like 1,000 to 2,000 a day. So I'm honestly glad we're getting new players for the game, but also for the content creators who put so much time into this game and work so hard for the game that they just deserve to have those viewers and get that money.
I agree. I mean, it's really good to see that, a lot more of them are getting recognized outside of, the more, well, I can't say more popular because they're no longer more popular.
But the
Yes.
well-known streamers.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about other games out there.
Right.
But I just wish that we could get more, which is not Square Enix's fault. It's more of what the global, supply is, just more servers, because it seems like we're gonna need something sooner. And I know they've said that before, but where is it?
Queues are consistently ticking upwards, I've noticed.
They
Yeah.
have.
Especially on
is
bigger
like-
servers like Leviathan.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong.
But it kind of makes me nervous for like when Endwalker releases, because it's gonna hit the fan in a
Mhm.
glorious, glorious way.
Raubon's wall. Raubon's
Raubon's
wall.
wall.
Oh man.
Those memories are forever seared.
For
into
any
my
of you who
brain.
knew, at the launch of Stormblood, there was this thing called Raubon EX, where the very first, or it's like second quest into Stormblood, you just could not accept it. It would go into a cutscene and it would just immediately boot you out because there's so many people trying to watch it.
Well,
was
it's not that it was a cutscene that was being watched. You went into an instanced battle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And there were only so many instances that could be fulfilled, and so you basically either sat there and spammed Raubon's wall to try to get into the instance, or you
Yep.
just gave up and came back when
another
they
day.
actually fixed it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it didn't take them long to fix it, but it was
Huh.
it was an immediate memory and meme for everybody
Mhm.
that played at the time.
Ooh, I just realized
Mm.
Shadowbringers when Shadowbringers launched, the queue to get in was ridiculous. Now imagine with how many players we now have, how bad those queues are going to be when people get in.
hmm
It's
And
going to be
that's
ridiculous.
if they don't like that's assuming they also you're going to have a bunch of new players, and you don't know if they're going to cap off the servers or what. So
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
expect some long queue times.
Although they're not going to
Not-
trump anything that New World had.
Yeah,
'Cause
as I
that
say,
shit was
not New
ridiculous.
World bad.
That was ridiculous.
I still don't understand how they. I don't understand how, to get off on a tiny little bit of a sidetrack here. I don't understand how New World had the issues that it had in the beta, where it was affecting people's hardware, and that still continued to the launch. They didn't test it enough to make sure that it wasn't going to fry people's systems. It's Amazon, biggest company in the
Yeah.
world.
Yep.
It's wild that happened. Apparently, one of the things that can cause this to happen is actually like an uncapped frame rate on a load screen.
Oh.
Mm.
And so when you do that, your video card's like, "Oh, I can go like to the limit with this? Cool, here I go." And then that's kind of one of the things that can potentially burn out a video card.
Careful, your video card might be on fire if you look away.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my god.
So
Better hope it's not a 3000 series, otherwise you ain't getting that.
Nope.
nope. Hell no.
What were we saying, Cal?
I actually got lucky. The New World beta closed one day, like it just shut off on me, and my hardware wasn't affected, but the game refused to launch from then on. And so I just gave up. I was kind of enjoying what I was playing, but I wanted to play more, and I couldn't. And so that completely turned me off of the game. Like I'm like, got better things to do. So, dodged a bullet there because I do have a 3070 Ti, and I'd like to keep it intact.
Well, yeah, good. So then you can play more 14.
You
Mhm.
better believe it.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we got a hilarious ripoff from
Oh my god. It's not even a ripoff. It's literally
This is
cut
the
and
most
paste.
blatant thing I've ever seen.
I've seen WoW ripoffs before. This was bad.
So, in case you're wondering, another game from a Chinese developer called Duel Continent Soul Master Duel basically ripped off the opening the opening trailer of Shadowbringers with not
Like
very
straight.
much
God.
very yeah,
No.
Oh my god.
The actual trailer for the game for Duel of Continent Soul Master Duel is like 40 seconds long, and it's literally all cuts from uh the Warrior of Light's duel with the Karibu angel thing. And yeah, it's like shot for shot with slight tiny variations here and there, like the character moves in slightly different ways in certain
But they
situations.
have like
Yeah, the composure of each shot and the direction literally matches that intro, and it's just like, oh my god. I mean, sure, there's no shame when it comes to this kind of thing, and I guess if you're gonna copy copy the king. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
oh my god.
The amount of work that went into this is it's so appalling. For instance, it's a shot for shot remake of the trailer.
Yeah.
But everything inside it is like they've got like their own like character design and like weapon design and like monster design. It's just shot for shot remake of the trailer. They went through all the work to create unique designs and everything like that for this trailer just to completely rip off the composition and direction of that trailer. If you were going to go to all that work, just make something new.
Yeah, exactly. Just make something new.
Honestly, are you really surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Where did this trailer come from again?
China?
Oh, well, nope. Surprise is gone.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you see like the WoW streamers and the WoW video creators have gotten their hands on Final Fantasy XIV, and they are already creating some meme-worthy content, I must say.
Oh, it's a very
Yes.
meme-worthy game.
It is, but it's even funnier when it's like you see like WoW characters like laying in a bed in the Final Fantasy XIV world, inhaling from a tank of copium. Those guys, they are a talented bunch, I must say.
Yes, I
I look
just
forward to the
hats off.
new video content that's going to come from all the WoW players that are jumping ship.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't gotten better either. Like ever since the last thing I remember hearing about any changes on WoW was like the fruit thing,
Hmm.
which
Oh,
I think we
what?
talked about that. But did you not? Yeah. So let me say really quickly, I adore empowered women in video games. I adore it. I think women in video games need to have a much higher role than they are given now. So after the events of WoW, they to make things quote unquote better, they decided to remove explicit photos in WoW to different things. So there was a portrait of a woman who had a cut shirt showing some like cleavage, like down like down the middle cleavage. They
Mhm.
covered that up. And then
Oh yeah, that I remember.
and then
seeing
there
that.
was a lady, there was like one who was like laying on the bed. Not even really explicit. She was just laying on a bed with like maybe some like silk robes or something. They turned her into some fruit. That's like I don't. That doesn't exactly.
I'm sorry. What's
Meanwhile,
happening
in
here?
Limsa
No,
Lominsa, there's a whole bunch
pineapples.
of there's a whole bunch of prostitutes on the streets begging for your attention in Limsa Lominsa. And I'm not talking about the players, I'm talking about the NPCs.
The actual literally Square Enix's idea of like making everything fair and making everything like equal. Just don't mess with anything. Just let. I don't understand. Like that company is so frustrating and
Well,
bad.
You mean Blizzard, right?
Yes, Blizzard.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure because you have been known to take some shots at Square Enix from time.
No,
know.
I love Square Enix compared to like Blue. Like Square Enix is pretty much the second coming compared to freaking Blizzard.
yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's you're talking apples and oranges. They're two
Yeah,
totally
different
different.
companies.
Yeah.
But I will give them credit. Diablo 2 is really good. That's one thing I'll give them credit for.
But it's just basically the only reason Diablo 2 is good is because Diablo 2 was good. Like
Correct,
it's
and
not
they gave it.
they're
And
like, oh wow, look what they've done. It's like they handed it off to another company and they're like, hey, make our really good game shiny, and then give it to everybody so we can sell it. Like that's what they did. Like they don't deserve credit for that. Like they don't.
That's true. I take it back.
Anyways, back to 14. I think that's about it. It's a short episode. We just wanted to give a few updates. And yeah.
And yeah, like leaks are out there. We
Yeah.
didn't really want to cover them. If you
No.
want to find them, you know where they are. So we're not going to be the ones to disclose that information.
No.
We should be hearing from a lot of the content creators of the media tour within like a couple weeks, I think, where they'll show like all. One of the best Final Fantasy YouTubers in my opinion, Larry's are. He usually puts out a bunch of videos considering each job's changes. So if you want to check that out when he releases them, I would 100% recommend it.
But otherwise, there are 43 days until Endwalker.
It's getting close. It's getting close. In next episode, we will most likely have the embargo would probably lifted on all of the media tour content. So that's probably when we'll really we're going to really ingest that in our time off. And then when we come in, we'll probably have our thoughts on the majority of the changes.
I agree.
And with that, this episode has come to a close. If you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter at CTR Radio XIV. If you want to email us, shoot us a comment or two, a complaint. You can talk about, I don't know, boobs galore over at ctradioxiv@gmail.com. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Yes, thank you very much, Claude, for all the work that you do there. And yes, I think that is all. So
now listen to this banger.
Yeah.
Thank you once
Listen.
again to @Voya Music. We'll be shouting him out on Twitter. So thank you once again for the excellent track.
Yes. And with that, we bid you farewell. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
We out.